American Timelines is a member of the Queen City Podcast Network. Find out more at queencitypodcastnetwork.com.
So now I'm obsessed with time. Come on, tell me about the time. Had it all in my hand tonight. Had the time of my life. When the words all come down like blues on Tuesdays come down. Throw it all away. Throw it all away.
Deep dive.
So what happened on April 19th, 1995?
April 19th, 1995, the top songs on the radio when whatever you're about to talk about happened. The top songs were Montel Jordan's This Is How We Do It, TLC's Red Light Special, All Through the Night, Soul for Real, Candy Rain, Adina Howard, Freak Like Me, and Real McCoy, Run Away, Run Away. The top movies on April 19th of 95 were Friday, The Basketball Diaries, Bad Boys, which is the greatest movie ever, Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. And did you know the role of Mike Lowry was destined for Arsenio Hall, but he turned it down?
I did not know that.
Big mistake. And Tommy Boy was the big movie.
Okay, so shortly after 9 o'clock a.m. on April 19th, 1995, a Ryder rental truck with a 7,000-pound ammonium nitrate fuel bomb exploded with terrifying force in front of the 9-story Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in downtown Oklahoma City. So the Oklahoma City bombing occurred.
Oklahoma City bombing.
Yes, and it left 168 people dead and hundreds more injured. The blast was set off by anti-government militant Timothy McVeigh,
White domestic terrorist,
who in 2001 was executed for his crimes. His co-conspirator, Terry Nichols, was sentenced to life in prison. Until September 11th, 2001, the Oklahoma City bombing was the worst terrorist attack to take place on U.S. soil. And it's interesting to me when you were talking about how the OJ trial was it just overshadowed everything in 95, and that was 2 people that died, whereas the Oklahoma City bombing was so much bigger.
All these people.
168 people dead.
Yeah.
But everybody cared about OJ.
That's all they talked about.
It's
OJ.
just weird.
I think because he was so famous. And is this the Unabomber?
No, that was Ted Kaczynski. This is Timothy McVeigh.
What did Ted Kaczynski do?
He mailed bombs in the mail to people.
And was that later?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's
I always
later.
thought this was the Unabomber, and then they found out who he was, and then they
this is Timothy McVeigh.
Everything mixed up.
So initially,
it is crazy that all these people died, and all we talk about is OJ. I think they were obsessed more with OJ being a superstar, and everybody knows who he is, so you feel like
it was so weird.
And he was, even though he was Nordberg on Naked Gun, he was a sideline reporter. So everybody who watched football
knew him.
Like it was like he was talking to you.
Nobody knew who this Timothy McVeigh guy was.
Nobody knew who he was. And honestly, in all of America, there's probably a huge percentage of our population that doesn't really know where Oklahoma is.
Well, that's true.
Is that by Nevada? No, it's over by, is it by Nebraska? Oklahoma? Like it's somewhere
somewhere in the middle.
It's just way out in the middle, and they're not really
kind of south, but not really.
Yeah, nobody knows where Oklahoma is.
So the powerful explosion blew off the building's entire north wall. Emergency crews raced to Oklahoma from across the country, and when the rescue effort finally ended 2 weeks later, the death toll...
2 weeks?
Yep. The death toll stood at 168 people. The blast was heard over 50 miles away.
Oh, my gosh.
And it caused tiles to fall from ceilings in buildings up to 3 miles away.
Oh, my gosh.
They could hear the blast over 50 miles away, and the buildings were shaking and things up to 3 miles away.
That's insane. I did not know that. So that's the thing with this. When I first knew you were doing this, I was kind of like, oh, that's so popular. But at the same time,
there's stuff.
There's
lots
of
stuff.
I really don't know much about it, except, I mean, I know it was Timothy McVeigh.
Yeah.
I know he was a white guy, and he was a piece of shit, of course.
Yes.
But that's probably the extent of, like you said, I went about my day. I was like, oh, it's Oklahoma.
Right.
almost the same as, we hear about all this horrible stuff going on in Syria, and we all just go about our day.
That's right. But this was in
Syria's-
America.
Syria's nothing, but Oklahoma is like right behind Syria in my mind because it's just so far. It's far away to me. I don't even know where it is. It's like a foreign land.
So the list of the deceased included 19 young children.
Yes, the
who were
daycare.
in the building's daycare center at the time.
I do remember
and
that being devastating.
Well, that asshole parked the truck right on that wall right below the daycare. Only 6 children survived.
You think he knew
the whole
there was a daycare there?
He did. He had weeks before he took a tour of the building.
Oh, so he knew
and was asking where.
So he was trying.
He did.
To
he wanted
kill
to.
children.
He wanted to get as many casualties as possible. That's why he did it at 9 a.m. When people were going to be in the building, not in the middle of the night. More than 800 other people were injured in the bombing, which damaged or destroyed over 300 buildings in the immediate area.
Oh gosh, 300.
McVeigh was a big Star Wars nerd, and he fancied himself as like a Luke Skywalker, and that the loss of the innocent life, he said that was like blowing up the Death Star, and that if you work in the Death Star, you might be innocent in your own life, but you're just a casualty of the greater good kind of thing.
Oh, because like the government, he said the government was evil?
Yes. There was one victim.
The government is evil, but it doesn't mean you kill all those people.
Well, not in the way he thought, though. He was just an NRA nut, and it was all about guns for him that they were taking away because the Brady bill had passed recently.
Really? That's what his motivation
was? It
was?
was all about guns.
He really thought people were taking his guns.
Yes. Yep.
Oh, how relevant today. Crazy.
So one of the victims, Dana Bradley, was at the Social Security office to get her newborn son a Social Security card. And she was there with her son, her mother, brother, and sister. And her mother, brother, and her newborn son were killed. And her sister was badly burned. And she got trapped under the rubble. And to get free, her leg had to be amputated with a pocket knife.
Oh, my God.
Because the guy
she amputated herself?
No, there was a surgeon came, but they couldn't. The scalpel, I can't remember what the story was, but he had to use a pocket knife because he had to get through. The scalpel didn't work. Yeah, I know. So
this is awful.
Rescue attempts took 2 weeks. Most of the deaths could have been prevented with an inexpensive upgrade to the construction. So they used when they constructed the building, they used a cheaper material.
Yeah.
And if they would have used rebar, which is a more expensive, but it's just a few dollars more, they would have saved a lot of lives if they would have done that. But they didn't. They used cheaper material, and one of the city planners knew and was like, even warned officials and said that this building is not safe, that something could happen.
Holy crap.
So a massive hunt for the bombing suspects ensued, and on April 21st, an eyewitness description led authorities to charge Timothy McVeigh, who was a former U.S. Army soldier, in the case.
He was a U.S. Army soldier.
He was. And we'll get into his
gun nut.
We'll get into his past. So as it turned out, he was already in jail because he was stopped a little more than an hour after the bombing. He was stopped for a traffic violation.
What?
Yeah.
So he was already in jail?
He parked the truck.
Right.
Then he went to his getaway car.
Yeah.
Which there's speculation that there was another accomplice because
maybe he was the accomplice
for him to get to the
OJ.
getaway car. He was driving and he got stopped and
he was driving in the getaway car?
Yeah, and he got stopped and he had a handgun on him that was not licensed, and so they arrested him for that. And they didn't know when they arrested him.
Wait. You're saying they arrested him right after the bombing?
Right after hours.
Police,
more than an
hours
hour,
after.
A little more than an hour
after the bombing.
They arrested
Police
him.
were just going about their business,
Yep.
not thinking he had anything to do with this.
Right.
They were just like, oh, this guy's speeding.
Yep.
And he's got a gun. Let's arrest this guy. So they didn't know that they caught the killer, the mastermind of the Oklahoma City bombing?
Yes. And
I had no idea
they were going to
that.
release him from jail.
What?
But the rear axle of the truck, which flew off when it exploded, right? The rear axle flew off and it hit a car full of people and killed them. And they had that, and the VIN number.
The rear axle of the
Ryder truck had flown off when it exploded. And it had hit a car and killed a bunch of people. And but it had the VIN number on it. So the police got the VIN number and they tracked it to the rental place.
Right.
And it was registered to this Robert Kling, which
Right.
was an alias McVeigh used.
Yeah.
And when they went, there was an unknown man with him when he went to get the truck. This man that was supposed to be this olive-skinned
When
man.
he rented the truck.
When he rented the truck.
Right.
And that is John Doe. They call him John Doe. They never have
They
identified.
still don't know who this guy is?
They still don't know.
To this day?
To this day.
What?
So he had also checked into a hotel, and this woman at the hotel recognized the sketch.
Wait. Who checked in the hotel?
McVeigh
or
had
the
before
olive-skinned man?
the bombing.
Yeah.
McVeigh had checked into a hotel and used his own name.
Oh, one dumbass.
And this woman that worked at the hotel recognized the sketch, and he had used his own name to check into the room. So they're getting ready to release him from jail, and then all this information comes in that they're like, oh,
Before they release him.
before they release him.
Yeah.
Which is really good luck, because if they would have released him, it would have been another Waco situation where he would have holed himself up somewhere with all his guns, and it would have been a big issue.
Huh.
So that same day, Terry Nichols, who was an associate of McVeigh's, surrendered in Harrington, Kansas. He was
No, Terry Nichols. I remember that.
Remember
Was
that?
he the olive skin guy?
no, he's somebody else. He was his co-conspirator. The olive skin guy is a third unknown.
We still don't know who he is.
No.
Well,
So-
crap, could have been my stepdad. He's olive skin.
Both men were found to be members of a radical right-wing survivalist group was based in Michigan. And then on August 8th, Michael Fortier, who knew of McVeigh's plan to bomb the federal building, agreed to testify against McVeigh and Nichols in exchange for a reduced sentence. So he was going to be charged because he knew about it, and he didn't do
But
anything about it.
He didn't plan it either.
He
He,
didn't-
wasn't part of the planning. He just
Not that I
knew.
know of. But 2 days later, McVeigh and Nichols were indicted on charges of murder and unlawful use of explosives. So who was Timothy McVeigh? So while he was still in his teens, McVeigh, who was raised in western New York, which is weird to me because I would have thought he would have been in the South,
Really?
he acquired a penchant for guns from his grandfather, and he began homing survivalist skills that he believed would be necessary in the event of a Cold War showdown with the Soviet Union. As a child, as with a lot of serial killers and mass murderers, he had a head injury, which is a hallmark of anyone who's been a serial killer or
Really?
yeah,
They
they
all
always
have head
have head injuries. Yep,
So it's like
brain
the
injury.
TBI
Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah,
causes this kind of behavior.
it can. Mm-hmm.
Huh? I did
So-
not know that.
His grandfather introduced him to a love of guns, which was the real reason McVeigh would eventually want to bomb the building.
What a
in-
great guy.
And in 1985, he worked at Burger King.
Oh, well, that
That's where he.
that explains it. Those Whoppers.
You
I
know,
mean, making
right?
Whoppers just gets in it. Like I went to Burger King the other day, and that guy looked like he was pissed at me.
Yeah, I was probably planning something.
Yeah.
So he graduated from high school in 1986, and then in 1988 he enlisted in the Army.
The same year that Ron Simmons started in the WWF.
All right. In 1988, he enlisted in the Army, where he was a disciplined and meticulous soldier. So he was a really good soldier. He was
Yeah.
just nuts.
Right.
While in the military, he befriended Terry Nichols. That's where they met.
Oh, I met Terry Nichols because Terry Nichols was a lot older.
He
than
was more than a dozen years older.
right.
But
That's
they
12.
both
That's
were
12.
That's right, and they both were into the survivalist thing.
Yeah.
And that's when they started getting into that whole survivalist movement.
Ugh.
In early '91, McVeigh served in the Persian Gulf War.
Yeah.
He was decorated with several medals for
Desert
his
Storm, y'all.
military service. That
Which they were-
wasn't Desert Storm. That was Desert.
The Persian Gulf was.
Was that Desert Storm or Desert Shield?
Oh, aren't those the same kind of?
No.
Didn't they evolve one into the other?
No, one was
91 was. Yeah, I guess you're right. There was
George
two different
Bush
ones.
Senior.
But 92 was. Well, 92 was when Hulk Hogan fought Sergeant
Well,
Slaughter. and Sergeant
we'll get
Slaughter
the
was
corrections and
evil
apologies on
Iraqi.
it when we. But he
we
was.
won't.
He failed to qualify for the Special Forces program, and so he accepted the Army's offer for an early discharge and left in the fall of '91. The American military was downsizing after the collapse of the Soviet Union.
Right.
Another result of the end of the Cold War was that McVeigh shifted his ideology from a hatred of foreign communist governments to hating the U.S. government. And especially after Bill Clinton was elected in '92 and got the
Slick
Brady
Willie,
bill,
y'all.
got the Brady bill
The
passed.
Brady bill passed. So it's weird how so many of these things are parallel.
Yep.
Like right now, there's all this stuff
Yep.
with gun control going on. It's just like constantly history repeating.
It is.
So,
It is.
so this makes me a little nervous.
It
It
does.
makes me feel like this is ruffling the NRA's feathers are being ruffled
Yes,
right
it
now.
is.
So somebody out there is about to go do something like this,
Yeah.
probably.
There was also a book called The Turner Diaries, which influenced McVeigh. This was a novel, but it was
Tina Turner.
no, it was a novel, but it was outlined how to run your own militia, and it was very explicitly racist, and it became his Bible pretty much. Like he fashioned his whole life after the Turner Diaries, which is a big like radical right wing. People love this book, and it's real poorly written. It's just awful.
I worked with a guy in '95 that was a survivalist guy. Black mustache. We called him Hitler.
Well, it's probably not too far off.
It's terrible.
So McVeigh, Nichols, and their associates were deeply radicalized by such events as the August 1992 shootout at Ruby Ridge, Idaho,
I don't know
between
about that.
federal agents and survivalist Randy Weaver at his rural cabin. So he was holed up in his cabin with his wife and children,
Yeah.
and federal agents stormed it. They ended up killing his wife and child, and he was a big,
Crazy.
He had an arsenal of
Yeah.
weapons, stockpiled them and everything, and
Was this big news?
it was, yeah, and
don't remember that.
especially amongst these radical right wing.
Oh,
It
those
was
guys
like
knew about it.
and between that and then when Waco happened in '93, where 75 members of the Branch Davidian sect died. Those were the two things.
Was '93? Were they crazy survivalist people too? Like gun?
No,
nuts?
but they were stockpiling weapons in
They
Waco.
were.
Mhm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's nuts. I
And-
didn't know. And that's the thing. Again, the internet wasn't really much of a thing yet.
yeah.
None of this was super common knowledge like everything is now.
Yeah. Well, Waco was proof that all the conspiracy theories he'd read about in gun show pamphlets was true. So he was a gun show. Like he would go to gun shows all the time.
Gun
And-
show loopholes.
Gun shows, it's, hundreds of miles of these booths with all these pamphlets about,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it just feeds your
Yeah,
brain with all of
you
this.
need to stock by yourself because the government's going to take
The government's
your guns
coming to
and-
take everything,
Yeah,
and
it's so
and
crazy.
the KKK has a booth at the gun show. I mean, it's
And that's all just to make money, right?
Yeah,
All just
yeah.
to sell.
so McVeigh used those two events, Ruby Ridge and Waco, to justify his actions.
That's what motivated him to do what he did.
And he also had signed up for a trial membership with the KKK at one point,
Okay, so he's racist.
but he decided not to join them because they were more into the race thing and he was more into the gun thing, and he felt like they didn't focus enough on the guns, and he felt like they were trying to influence the youth too much or something. I don't know. So he planned his attack on the Murrah building, which had regional offices of like the DEA, the
Remind me what the,
FBI,
what's the building? What'd you say?
the Murrah building,
Murrah?
Mhm.
M-U-R-R-A-H?
AH. Yep.
Murrah building.
And it had the DEA, a federal office of the DEA, the FBI, and the ATF were all in there.
Yeah.
And the ATF was the ones who launched the raid on Waco. Most of the offices in the building were run-of-the-mill government offices.
They were
80% of the people had no connection to law enforcement at all.
Yeah, it's terrible. Kids.
So he picked April 19th, 95 because it was the 2-year anniversary of the Waco siege, the end of the Waco siege.
It was?
The
So-
Waco siege lasted for months, but the end of it that day
The
was
end of it.
April 19th.
So do you have anything about the night before and what he had to plan to do all this?
No.
Because this is a good time as any to talk
Okay.
about. So the night before, he had to be getting this truck
Getting everything ready.
building everything ready, so he's going to
Ready
get
to
up in the
roll.
morning
Yep.
and do all this. So the night before, while he's preparing the truck, on the news that night, on each network, Peter Jennings was on ABC, Tom Brokaw was on NBC, and Connie Chung was CBS. And they hosted the news. And here's the top stories. All three of them we're talking about. I could find this is on tvnews.vanderbilt.edu.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt University has a chronicling of all the top news stories and any year you want to go find.
Well, that's
They
cool.
have, and you click on each one and it tells you what the story was and why it was in the news. It's got a headline and then it tells you why.
Oh, that's pretty
And so
neat.
the big stories they were talking about on all the networks were Joe Montana's retirement, the crash of an Air Force jet in Alabama, and the feature shows scenes from the site of the crash. It was near Alexander City, Alabama, and it killed an assistant secretary of the Air Force, a general, and 6 other people.
Oh, wow.
So to me, it's fascinating to know, like, the night before a huge story,
Yeah.
because the next
Day was
20
saturated.
days was all this bombing. The next several days. That's all. The Oklahoma City bombing was the
Months.
huge months.
Yeah.
The huge news was the Oklahoma City bombing for months.
Yeah.
Because I looked at that the next night. It says all of that. The night before that happened, the top news stories were Joe Montana, this Air Force jet in Alabama, the O.J. Simpson trial was all over it, and a White House press conference that was not aired, but the White House press secretary, Michael McCurry, was saying that the president will challenge Congress to pass a welfare reform bill.
Okay.
That was the big news the night before. And on the late shows that night, on Jay Leno, on April 18th, he had Dennis Franz and Carol Kane.
Okay.
And Letterman had David Duchovny, Jamie Lee Curtis, and Mary Chapin Carpenter.
There you
So
go.
while he's playing his bombing, those
That
things
was all
were
going on.
He had his radio jammed up to Montel Jordan going, "This is how we do it."
Probably not. It was probably
He
some,
did. No, he had that. No, he wouldn't have. He wouldn't have. He would have had some horrible,
something awful.
hatred song.
Yeah. So on June 2nd, 1997, he was convicted on all 11 counts against him. And on August
97?
Yeah.
He was convicted. Okay. So they had him in jail,
Yeah.
and he wasn't convicted until 2 years later.
Right.
Wow.
And on August 14th, the death penalty was formally imposed.
It was.
So the following year, Fortier, who had met McVeigh in the Army, was sentenced to 12 years in prison for failing to warn authorities about the bombing plan. He was released from prison in 2007 and entered the Witness Protection Program.
Wait, that's the guy that informed him?
No, he didn't. He's the one that knew about it, but he gave a plea deal that he would testify against them.
He testified, but he didn't warn anybody.
No, that's why he got jail time, because he knew about it.
Wait. Describe this guy again. What's his name?
Michael Fortier.
Michael Fortier.
And he was another Army buddy. And he knew about the bombing plan.
He knew about the bombing plan, and he was in witness protection in what year?
He went into the Witness Protection Program in 98.
98. And we have no idea how old he is. We'll have to look that up.
No. I'm sorry. He went into jail in 98 to serve a 12-year sentence, and in 2007 he entered the Witness Protection Program. So he's free.
Oh, we gotta look up his age, because I don't know about you, but there's like a half dozen people I've met that I'm like, I think that there's something up with that dude.
He's probably in the Witness
That
Protection
dude's in the
Program.
Witness Protection Program. Witness protection, because
Could be.
everyone knows somebody in the witness
That's
protection.
Right. That's right. So in December 1997, Terry Nichols was found guilty on 1 count of conspiracy and 8 counts of involuntary manslaughter for killing federal law enforcement personnel, and was sentenced to life in prison.
This is going to sound frivolous, but every time you say Nichols, I instantly stop listening, and I think of those donuts that were made by Nichols Bakery that were like the 3
All right,
chocolate
that does
donuts
sound stupid.
and the 3
All right.
powdered donuts.
In
I love
2004,
donuts.
he was tried on state charges in Oklahoma and convicted of 161 counts of first-degree murder,
Fuck yeah.
including fetal homicide. He received 161 consecutive life terms in prison.
So he's still in jail?
Oh, yeah.
Still alive?
Oh, yeah.
But
In-
the other, McVeigh's dead.
No, he's not. Wait a minute. So in December 2000, McVeigh asked a federal judge to stop all appeals of his convictions and to set a date for his execution, because he wanted to die.
2000, he's ready to die.
Yeah, the request was granted, and on June 11th, 2001, McVeigh, at the age of 33, which is pretty young.
Whoa, he was only 33?
In 2001.
Somebody's 95, he was what? I can't do that math.
No, I can't either, but he was young.
6 years? 33?
He
26 or something?
Yeah.
He was only a 26-year-old kid?
Yep. He
Damn.
died at age 33. He died by lethal injection at the U.S. Penitentiary in Terre Haute, Indiana.
Terre Haute? What's his last meal?
It doesn't say. He was the first.
Mussels and a bunch of strawberry milkshakes.
He was the first federal prisoner to be put to death since 1963.
You know, here's what I think they should do. I know maybe the O.J. Simpson 100 touchdown thing wasn't as popular, but if somebody like that fucking kills a bunch of kids and shit, and he wants to die and get the death penalty, that's fine. But before we do your soft lethal injection, you killed a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
Anybody who wants to gets to line up and punch you in the balls and the face, and just
I think let him rot in jail. I think don't kill him. I think let him sit and rot and live and live and live
and to eat like 3 Cheez-Its a day.
Yeah.
And that's it, just to keep him alive. But people need to tag him in the balls. Like Brian McCartney just gets to hit him in the nuts.
In May 1995, the Murrah building was demolished for safety reasons, and the Oklahoma City National Memorial Museum later opened at the site.
Man.
And that is the story of the Oklahoma City bombing.
Wow.
Was it as boring as you thought it would be?
No, I did learn a lot.
Yeah.
And really the focus of this podcast is to learn things.
Right.
Because I didn't pay attention to that because, again, while this was happening, I was partying it up in college. I was smoking a lot of pot. I was drinking some
We
cold
don't need
ones.
to overshare.
I was playing euchre with my boys. We had a euchre chart at the House of Fun. The House of Fun.
All right,
was
we
a
don't need to
house
go
in
into
college
this. We need to wrap it
where
up.
the theater guys lived, and it was cool. We had a lot of fun drinking coffee.
So
Brendan
anyway.
Kane had Saudi Arabian pudding.
Anyway.
Brendan Kane. Just let me explain who Brendan Kane is. He's a big guy. He's a giant. He's 6'5". He's got a hairless torso, but his feet are covered in hair. He's Irish, and he won't let anybody forget it. And he's the best gibberish talker in the world. And Brad Abner lived with me then, and he died like this guy.
This isn't really what I was thinking we could end it with.
Oh, it was? That's how you
No,
wanted
it's
it?
not how I wanted to end
The
it.
House of Fun is the greatest. Do you like, at the end of the episodes, when I have a different Matt Truman song, or do you think we should pick one Matt Truman song and go?
I don't know.
Because I'm thinking if we mix it up, people get to hear that how different his songs are, that they really should purchase.
The ending is good. I like the same in the beginning, but
In the beginning, I always start with The Time, which is a song called Chrissy, by the way.
yeah.
And Matt Truman's, I just want everyone to know that all those songs are off one album,
Yeah.
one great album. And he's got more albums that I have
Yeah.
that I might dabble into in the next seasons.
Yeah.
But Matt Truman Ego Trip's album, Everybody's Got One.
Yeah.
I will tell you right now, every song on that album is good. Every single one. And it's available on Amazon.com. It's only like $8.
Yeah.
So just
for
shell
it.
out some cash. Help
it.
this dude out. Again, he needs to be creating music.
Yeah.
So with that, should we have Matt Truman send us out?
Let's do it. Get out of here, Chuck Berry.
Get out of here, Chuck Berry. This was episode 6, 1995. A lot of information came from, do you have any websites to quote?
It was Time, I think. Time magazine.
Time Magazine,
And there's other things like that.
popculture.us, vanderbilt.edu, quoted, I feel Wikipedia, anybody, just let us know.
Put it in the show notes.
Is there show notes?
You put it in the show notes.
Where?
You put it in the show notes.
Like just a
On the
little thing on the
website.
website?
Yeah.
I'll do that.
You won't have to say it all.
Got it.
Just get on it.
Fuck out of here. Matt Truman, take it away, you son of a bitch.
I know Miami Vice.
Oh, you did.
Oh, yeah.
Don Johnson?
Crockett and
Crockett.
Stubbs.
Crockett and
That's-
Tubbs.
That's an oldie.
Stubbs and Crockett.
Matt Truman Ego Trip is the greatest band of all time. Buy their music. American Timelines is a product of History for Jerks. Check out historyforjerks.com for all the other weird and cool shiznit. There's The Gruff and Loud Show, a YouTube show for Gen X weirdos who like pop culture and weird shit. There's also The Deborah Jo Ruppyverse Show featuring the mighty art star and Steve Bishop exploring the theory that the actress Deborah Jo Rupp is a nexus being, and every part she has played is one immortal being. Don't forget about the Nerd School podcast and the Threadless Shop, where you can buy a Tito Jackson shirt and a Dabney Coleman hat. Only a stupid dumbass wouldn't want a Dabney Coleman hat, and only a wiener bitch wouldn't want a Tito Jackson shirt.